Well, here we are. It's about time, really. It's time to take a look at 1.8 Chopek as well as Synthetic Dawn. I have been provided with a copy by Paradox Interactive. I did not pay for this copy, and I'm not being paid to do this at all. So consider this a general disclaimer that I did not get paid or paid any money for this particular expansion. Just be aware that the expansion is coming out on the 23rd of September. That's oncoming Thursday for those people that are watching this now. For those people that are in the future, it's probably already out right now, and it will be $10 and or local equivalent. That being said, let's go and take a look at the features that are available from my perspective. Let's go into the game. And first of all, obviously the Robot Empire is available now, and we're going to need to take a look at what is actually possible on that particular subject. In the meantime, I'm just going to lower the music a little bit. There we go. So let's create a new empire, and obviously we have access to a whole bunch of new stuff, and those are of course the machine portraits. We have our basic ones, but we've got all the other ones as well. Originally, apparently, there were supposed to be 12, however, this is boiled down to 8 of them, apparently because they were on a deadline. They all look pretty damn swanky, very well developed. I particularly like this one, which is the musculoid one. Very nice indeed. Plantoids also get their own robot portrait set, which is kind of cool. This one's kind of cool. Kind of reminds me of the robot, the power loader from Aliens in some kind of weird way, and this one just feels very Matrix to me. Regardless, portraits aside, we all want to go and take a look at all the cool stuff that is in there, because there is a lot of stuff that is important when it comes to robots. Obviously, there is an entire tree worth of traits available for all of them, and we're going to go take a look at them from this moment onwards. All of these are available in the robo modding sequence as well. For instance, if you're playing a mechanist for one of the Utopia types of governments, or any of the other governments that uses robots, you can use all of these traits to improve your individual robots as well, effectively giving them the similar traits as you would have in biology, but obviously a little bit more robot focused. First up, power drills, minerals plus 10%, pretty decent. Efficient processors. Robot upkeep has been reduced by 10%. Robot upkeep is always pretty expensive. Instead of using food, they use energy. So, especially in in empires that use a lot of energy, and especially in the late game where you have massive fleets, energy becomes very important. So, efficient processor is pretty important there. Logic engines, which basically improves all science output by 10%, which is pretty nice. Superconductive, plus 10 energy credits, which in combination with efficient processors should make the whole upkeep process a lot easier. Double jointed, resettlement cost minus 50. I've never been really a fan of resettlement in general. I don't think it's a particularly well fleshed out mechanic, and it's very situational specific. However, if you need to get certain resources in a pinch, then I guess they're usable. The thing is that you can just build a robot pop rather than have a normal pop grow, and you can control that a lot easier. So, bulky, which is a negative trait, is increases your resettlement cost. Obviously, you will get additional trait points that you can get out of that. Very similar to the biological stuff. Enhanced memory is a +2. The leader level cap increases by +2. One of the main features in 1.8, one of the features in 1.8 is that leaders now have a level cap of 10 rather than 5. However, the base is 5, and you need to use traits like this in order to increase that. Emotion emulators, ruler opinion impact plus 25. Your ruler will always give a plus 25 bonus to any sort of relationship status towards other empires. Uncanny, which is a Blorg reference. These monstrous machines were created in the image of one of the most horrific species in the universe, and the resemblance is uncanny. Ruler opinion impact minus 25. It's the exact opposite of emotion emulators. If you are, for instance, any of the subtypes of government forms that do not use diplomacy, this is a good thing to have in order to get around the lack of trait points that you can use. Durable, reduces consumer good cost. Yes, robots do use consumer goods. Pretty decent. High maintenance, it's exactly the same with the other way around. Learning algorithms and repurposed hardware are effectively the same thing, except inverse. Leader experience gain plus 25 and minus 25. Especially if you have a species that is set up to have very, very strong leaders that can go all the way to level 10, especially robots, considering they're effectively immortal. Plus 25, even though with an immortal machine, I don't even think this is really a really big deal. Because if a leader never dies, it means they'll eventually will get to that leadership cap. So overall, over a longer period of time, over hundreds of years, this is not really going to impact things all that much. So repurposed hardware actually seems to be a pretty decent way of getting around the trait issue. Mass-produced and custom-made robot build speed plus 25 and minus 25, respectively for custom-made. Pretty interesting. I don't know how long it takes for robots to be built at the moment. Recycled is robot build cost minus 20 and luxurious robot build cost plus 20. So this is the kind of thing where you can get into a situation where, I want to get remove, for instance, luxurious, which increases build cost, which is not all that great. Repurposed hardware, in my opinion, is actually not all that. I don't think the impact of it is too significant. Leader experience gain, especially with a perfect immortal machine, not really going to cause all that many problems. Robot build speed, yeah, if you want to grow. Uncanny is great if you're, for instance, a purifier types race. You cannot have any sort of impact on diplomacy to begin with. And now you have 2 that you can spend on other things, like, for instance, logic engines or efficient processors or even superconductive. So, yeah, you kind of need to go for 2 in this particular case. Maybe logic engine in this case. Or even enhanced memory. Regardless, those are all the traits that are available to the robots, but that's not where it ends. Let's go and take a look at government and ethics. Government in ethics, and once we get to the ethics screen, you will notice that the Hive Mind button has been removed and has now been replaced with the Gestalt Consciousness, which disables tutorials. They cannot use democratic, oligarchic, dictatorial, or imperial authority. No, they have their own authority format. Full orbital bombardment is allowed. The rulers are immortal. Native pops are not affected by happiness, and they will not join factions. Native pops cannot survive in a non-Gestalt consciousness empire. They will get +1 in monthly influence and a +2 core sector systems. Very cool. Obviously, it costs 3, which is the maximum amount of ethics points, and will give you access to either the Hive Mind, and in this particular case, Hive Mind being a part of Utopia, the machine intelligence. Leaders are immortal. Machine leader recruitment cost is increased by 100%, so no longer will you have cheap leaders. However, they will never die unless they get into an accident. Machine pops do not grow but are built. Non-machine pops must be assimilated, enslaved, or purged. No exceptions. Has access to special machine technologies. Cannot research robot or food technologies. Cannot follow psionic, biological, or synthetic ascension paths. And there we go. There are the civics. There's a couple of them. I'm sure that we're going to see more of them as the game develops. Built to last, consumer costs get reduced by 20%. A very good thing to offset with some of the trait that we talked about earlier. Constructobot, building costs reduced by 15%. These are only on-planet buildings, so no reductions to any sort of things like the, for instance, megastructures and stuff like that. Delegated faction leader recruitment costs are reduced by 50%. So in combination with the offset of +100 costs, that's actually kind of nice, especially considering you can have +4 additional leaders, which in combination of the happiness bonuses to assisting research can get pretty damn ridiculous. Determined Exterminator, which is a special type of government similar in style of purifiers or machinists, Our mechanists. Born in fire, machine intelligence. First move was to annihilate its organic creators in self-defense. Effectively, they are Skynet that have won the war and moved on. They cannot engage in diplomacy with organic species, will always purge, gain unity from organic pops, may use Armageddon bombardment, and weapon damage has been increased by 15%, unlike the biological purifiers, which I believe is 33% or 25%. Regardless, they cannot have the rogue government type, the government type rogue servitor or driven assimilators, and we will go into those very shortly. Driven assimilators obsessed with survival through diversification. The machine intelligence seeks to erase the line between itself and everything and everyone else. Effectively, they are the Borg. They start with 4 cyborg pops and the ability to turn organics into cyborgs. Xeno pops are automatically purged over time, but can be turned into cyborgs and given full citizenship. Very cool stuff. Looking forward to play with those. Factory overclocking. Where is the other one? Okay. Factory overclocking. Machine leader level cap +1 and leader experience gain +10%. So the offset is already there a little bit. So you can offset the trait by 10%. Introspective research speed for engineering has been increased by 20%. So if you want to get to that mega engineering, which is now part of the Ascension perk, then this is definitely the one to go for. ODA updates. It reduces edict cost by -33. Obviously, they're robots, so they can't have sanctioned worlds or sacrosanct worlds. So, yeah, edict costs in general are kind of nice. You know, getting energy and minerals, etc. Rapid replicator. Robot build speed +15%. Obviously, it looks pretty positive, especially if you want to get certain resources mined very quickly. But you got to keep in mind, more pops mean a more cost to your science networks. Rock breakers. Empire mineral production. It's basically the same as mining guilds, +10%. Rogue Servitor. This is the 3rd type of a government form. A product of a brief golden age, the machine intelligence originated in a planet-spanning servitor system that outlasted a decadent civilization it was created to serve. You start the game with 2 organic pops that are a bio trophy, and they are mandatory pampering living standards, which are, I think, one of the most expensive living standards in the game. Caring for organic pops in this way fulfilled low-level directives, freeing up processing cycles and boosting resource production. Okay. For every 10% of population in total that are biotrophy, you will get a +0.5 influence bonus and a 10% resource output bonus. And this goes up to 40%. And that's 40% of your population needs to be biotrophy then. And the rest is all robots. This is actually a really fascinating little approach. I'm really curious how this is going to go. This is very much like Ian Banks's Culture series, where, well, people are basically able to do whatever they want, and the AI organizes the rest. So, very cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to play with this one. Static research analysis increases research alternatives +1. I've never really been a fan about research alternatives. If you want certain research, it will come to you sooner or later. So whether or not it's a good idea to put a +1 on this is a completely different question. Unitarian cohesion. Monthly unity is +15. If you want to rush through that tradition tree, this is the way to go. And finally, Warbots. Army damage +20%, army upkeep -20%. Very nice stuff. A lot of really cool stuff that's in here. Let's just pick 2 of them. Obviously, once you have the requisite technology, you can get another one, and you can always reform later on. We are machine. That trait is required. That is machine. Habitability +200% on everything. So you can build you can man any planet you want. And leader recruitment cost +100%. So, oh yeah, some of these are incompatible with each other. Interesting. So right now, for instance, we cannot be. So we have uncanny and then emotion emulators. These 2 are no longer possible. So trade picks left. So let's go for power drills and logic engines. So basically we can offset all this stuff. But like I said, especially with the types of government that have leader impacts on them, let's say your purifiers, uncanny is perfect because ruler impact, it doesn't really matter. So there you go. Let's roll something here. Ruler title control hub. That's fine. We can have a bunch of cool color variants. Put them in a different room. That's all fine. Then we can take a look at our name and class. There is a robot AI world that we can build as well. Let's go for Empire name. And now let's go through some of the other features, which is the AI voice.
Democracy sure is an endless struggle.
Yeah, democracy sure is an endless struggle.
Space. Just think about it.
Apparently, xenophiles are really into the void.
The only way to make peace with others is to make peace with yourself.
That's very Buddhist.
Boundless horizons, endless learning opportunities, bleeding edge discoveries, limited legroom.
Limited legroom. Sounds like Coach on Lufthansa.
Maintaining state cohesion as we venture into space presents a unique challenge. We shall face the challenge head on, and we shall be stronger for it.
Fair enough.
Under no circumstances must the Xeno be trusted. It will lie, it will cheat, and it will do anything in its power to undermine the efforts of those who in truth are its superiors.
The Xeno must be purged, basically.
Cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war.
So the militarist one is an interesting one. There was a bit of a minor controversy about this one where people were not really happy with the style of militarism. They kind of wanted to go for the Spartan approach from Alpha Centauri.
Only in battle can the true metal of any sentient organism be measured. Have at thee.
Basically Klingons.
Faith manages. Faith manages. I serve the faithful. Thinking machines are an affront to nature.
Thinking.
These profane constructs must never be allowed to. Oh, wait.
We are one. We are all. Our unity cannot be divided. The self is a prison from which only we have escaped. The self is a prison from which only we have escaped.
So the hive mind actually works quite well with the AI.
Alert. Possible organic life form detected. Self-destruct sequence initiated. 5. Self-destruct sequence initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
These are quite good. I like these. I'm going to go with this one. Flag, starting weapons, missiles have completely been reworked. We'll do a separate video about those. No difference in FTL. Ships are still exactly the same. Let's go and save this, and let's go in, and then we take a look at the game details. No, we're not going to be playing a full game on this one. Galaxy size is still the same. Galaxy shapes are still the same. AI empire is still the same amounts. However, there's now a randomization where it means that if you click this button, it will take the half of it in the end, and then somewhere in the middle, the number will be set. Advanced AI starts, similar works there. Fallen empires. Kind of the same idea. I kind of like to go for 4 fallen empires because war and heavens and all that stuff. Primitive civilizations can be cranked up all the way ×5 in terms of their spawn rates. Crisis strength also ×5, which basically means they will spawn with fleets up to 900,000 right at the start of the game. I did a bit of experimenting with that. Habitable worlds. If you are struggling to find habitable worlds, there you go. That will allow you to build so many planets, it's not even funny. I think that the default has also been lowered a little bit, so you will have less planets by default, but this slider is here to make sure that you can have as many as you want. AI aggressiveness is still the same. Allowed FTL type, still the same. Empire placement, it's probably still just as broken as it used to be. Advanced neighbors, I generally like to turn those off myself. Iron Man mode obviously is still there, and let's go into the game, shall we? Let's see if we can find anything right off the bat. So there is obviously your random text blurbs at the start of the game. There is a bunch. Orbital energy conversion. Let's see if there's any unique ones here. I don't see anything at the moment. However, this does not mean that we don't need to take a look at our Ascension Perks. Let's take a look here. There should be a couple of unique ones. So let me quickly do something here. Oh, dear Lord. Did I turn on Iron Man mode? That I did. One moment. Let me just quickly do that. So we're, there we go. Sorry about that. It happens sometimes. There we go. So we go to our Ascension Perks. We show unavailable, and if we are a robot, we should be able to get Machine Worlds. So Machine Worlds unlock the terrifying option of Machine World. Machine Worlds are a special planet class that is uninhabitable for organics. Machine pops live on Machine Worlds and have their resource output increased by 15%. That is pretty damn amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this. Just adopt a tree quickly. Prosperity now has a bunch of new stuff in it. If you're a robot pop, you got synchronicity. We can take a look at that as well. I just want to quickly go through these trees. Synchronicity. Oh, there is some robot must. Okay. So machine leaders are 50% less likely to suffer breakdowns or accidents. I guess that's nice. Drone network building speed increases by 20. Unrest is reduced by 20. Processing hub unlocks building the control center, which I've never seen before. Let's give myself another load of Unity. If we can get some. There we go. Oh, we've already selected it. Fair. No, we have not selected it. My apologies. There we go. So we'll just quickly select a technological ascendancy. Master of Nature has been nerfed, by the way. It's no longer 100%. It's 50% now. Voidborn is always good. And then for Machine Worlds. So let's quickly have a quick look at our capital worlds. Planetary summary. Machine Worlds. There we go. So it takes a pretty long time to do. 7,000 days or 72,000 days. Instant build mode is on, so it should instantly pop. But still, robot pops in general are looking really good. We can also, for instance, go into the Species tab and create a template for robot technology. Which basically means is that if we want to select a certain group of species or of pops, we can basically apply a template onto them rather than build a new type of machine. We can also build a synthetic or the Megazord in this particular case. We can view this species, change them, machine integration, etc. So you have your standard synths as well in combination with your original pops. So it's pretty cool stuff. I'm really looking forward to mess around with all of this stuff. And this has been more of a general overview on what is available in the expansion. A lot of really cool little items have been added in to make the game more sci-fi. In the end, Stellaris is a canvas, and the expansion packs and stories are the paint that the developers put onto the easel, so to speak. And I'm really looking forward to see how things are going to develop over time, because it's been really fascinating to see. Let me try something here. Let's see if this works. Maybe I can fast forward a little bit better.
Entity has decrypted our communications.
Okay. So, has you changed to what I wanted you to, or does this not work like this? It does not work like this. Regardless, it is a really interesting experience so far. And over the next few days before the game comes out, we're going to be taking a look at more in-depth stuff when it comes to all of this. So there you have it. A general overview of the robots of Synthetic Dawn. How expensive are they? Well, they are They have a decent upkeep cost, so there's that at least. But still, in general, really looking forward how this is going to change the game in general, and also how everybody's game style is going to change. So yeah, Synthetic Dawn, it comes out on Thursday the 21st. It should be about 4 days after the release of this video, actually. So, regardless, we're going to go and dive a little bit deeper into the individual mechanics. This has been a general overview of some of the new features, or at least the main features, that are going to be added in Synthetic Dawn for Stellaris. My name has been ASpec, and if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and or subscribe, and if not, well, until next time, take good care of yourselves, and as always, eat shutter.